vasya filong. One of my favorite films will always be Jurassic Park, released in 1993. I like the respectful attitude toward nature and the sense of wonder that comes from the characters and through the images. When I think about the age of the dinosaurs, that wonder is actually stronger than fear. One line from the film stayed with me. Life finds a way. With the strongest will and one task, to exist, simply to exist. I would divide nature into living and non-living. The difference is the presence of one shared soul, life. The sea does not try to overflow its shores, and sand does not try to cover the whole planet, but life struggles to remain here. It struggles for movement or breath, for simply observing and existing, by any means possible. And it doesn't matter what form it takes, a human, a cockroach, a fish or a dinosaur. As a child, I wondered why animals' eyes look so much like mine, especially rabbits. We can have mutations that give them different colored eyes. It seemed to me that we were all so different. Our sizes, arms and paws, nose and ears. So why did our eyes look so much alike? The eyes of rabbits, elephants, pigs and whales, the pupil and the iris. And if you look deeper, our DNA is more than 60% and sometimes even more than 90% the same as that of many animals. It is astonishing when you look at it from a distance, and almost too simple when you unite everything through one shared soul, life. We all go back to one ancestor, an organism in which unconscious life was born, a passion for survival, a constant storm, and a thirst to exist by any means. I don't know why. This organism is called Luca, last universal common ancestor. It was the oldest organism from which all forms of life living on the planet today descended, from the single-cell bacteria to plants, animals, and humans. The main argument for its existence is precisely that in essence we are all one. All living organisms use the same genetic code, the same basic principles of protein synthesis, and similar biochemical pathways. But it was not the first cell or the first life. It was more likely the life that managed to survive, just as we are simply one of the species that managed to. A cell maintains its life not because it understands its value, but because its structure is such that under certain conditions, it inevitably behaves like a living organism. I do not control all the processes of regeneration inside me either. My body does that. And I have absolutely no control over these things. I am part of this organism, perhaps with even less right to speak than all the other cells inside it. Maybe they want to live more than I do, as one whole system. I like climbing plants that take over balconies and walls. I like abandoned buildings and cities overgrown with grass. I like flowers growing through concrete, wild nature. I like losing us humanity and I like winning us life. Sometimes life is destructive, sometimes smooth and slow, almost unnoticed. Human control is so illusory, and yet it tries so hard to resemble its parent life in its active but now conscious attempts to survive. We can adapt to the cold water being turned off, or to not having our favorite tea in a new city. I like to think that the shared soul of life inside me will find a way out and learn to adapt. That after death, life will not stop while we flow into the earth with its energy, and the same particles will continue to exist in others. In August 1883, one of the strongest eruptions in human history took place on Krakatoa. Almost the entire northern part of the island disappeared. Volcanic ash remained in the atmosphere for the several years afterward. The infrasound waves from the explosion circled the earth several times. Just 3 years later, the first plants appeared on the island. Their seeds had been carried there by water and wind. The soil was toxic, loose ash that could not hold water, but life adapted. It grew out and took everything it could, like a forest after a fire, with one shared system and one goal. Life finds a way.